Hello, my name is Ernest Lamoth. I'm a reporter for the Southland Journal.
Hi, I'm Camielle Williams, community advocate, adult mentor and advisor to Good Kids Mad City.
Okay, Camielle, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. We have a very important topic to talk about. As you know, can you first tell me your overall thoughts when you heard about Van Dyke being eligible to be released early and being eligible to be released as early as February 3rd?
So I wasn't surprised because I was a part of the coalition to actually release the tape. So I have always followed the process. So we was always raising awareness that, hey, 2022, he's coming home, so I wasn't surprised at all. I been knew that he would come home in 2022 sometime.
And so even though you're not surprised, just tell me a little bit about just how you're feeling about this situation.
I mean, words cannot describe how I feel because of what was done to Laquan McDonald. Jason Van Dyke did not get properly sentenced. I don't care if people say, "Oh, well, the judge saw fit, the justice system saw fit." That does not. 81 months, 3 years does not fit at all. In no way fit that sentence, especially what he did to Laquan McDonald, lied about it, and what he has done to other young Black men and men of color.
And what would you have liked to see happen?
Jason Van Dyke should have gotten life in prison. People don't understand that for 400 days, he was allowed to work. For 400 days, the public did not know who he was. Jason Van Dyke, prior to killing Laquan, was already under a federal investigation for breaking the shoulder blades of another African-American young man. And they knew this. The Chicago Police Department knew this, but they helped cover it up. But it was because of us seeing the autopsy report back in 2015 of May and said, enough is enough. Let's go after this tape. Let's see what really happened. And we had to fight against the political red tape. We went to our elected officials. Hey, did y'all see the autopsy report? This young man got shot 16 times. Yeah, I mean, but what y'all want us to do? Y'all need to say something. This man was not in jail. He was still working. Nobody knew who he was. It was just a young man, just turned 17, had some challenges, was gunned down, and nobody cared. The people that seen it, McCarthy seen the tape, Rom seen the tape, Anita Alvarez seen the tape. Y'all watch smoke come from this young baby's body. Y'all gave this man's mom $5 million and they requested $22 million, but you saw fit $5 million and slapped the gag order? That's not right. That was wrong. And we saw fit for the world to see it. I personally, and I'm sharing this story with you, I've lost relationships, political relationships, and I don't care, for going after the tape back in 2015. When I walked into that federal court building, me and Will Calloway, and about 9 other advocates, because it wasn't an outcry of people. The city asked us, the city lawyers and some people that I knew that worked for the city, asked us, what are we doing? They told us, evidently, if the tape is not public, it's not for Chicago to see. It is not for the world to see. And we're like, oh no, y'all trying to hide something here. And when we seen this tape, that's when we knew who Jason Van Dyke was, after 400 days. And even still, Jason Van Dyke was bailed out for $1 million. We got people sitting in jail for stealing a Snicker. 3 years. And then we had to fight to have Jason Van Dyke to be convicted. We had to say, you know what? If he's found not guilty, there's going to be some consequences. I went to court not only for Jason Van Dyke, I went to court for the officers who helped cover it up, who was found not guilty. That did something to us. These judges, Dominicia Stevenson, sat there and said the state did not prove his case. And those 3 officers walked out. And in that courtroom, you had officers sitting in there with their uniforms and they was high-fiving each other. When y'all lie on official documents, any official paper that we have to sign, it says if you caught lying, you will face a fine and a penalty, right? They were caught lying and did not face no penalty, was acquitted. So this is why a person like myself and some of my comrades is upset, because it's wrong. And the federal government knew that Jason Van Dyke not only violated the civil rights of Laquan McDonald, but the other people who testified, the other people who filed a federal lawsuit against him, because they knew that the city of Chicago was not going to do anything.
And when it comes to your organization, can you talk a little bit about the background of your overall organization and what the next step is going to be?
So Good Kids Mad City is a youth-led group. I'm mentoring them to be advocates. We do not subscribe to respectable politics, meaning we kind of use a radical approach. Do understand that we also write policies and we lobby. So we just not a bunch of young people out in the streets making noise. That's for awareness. But we do come to these tables. We do have policies, from police accountability, police reform, to gun violence prevention, to homelessness, to maternal health, to mental health, to trauma help. So we have different policies. And we also have initiative where we help give young people money, and we also pay for people's funerals who's gunned down. So we don't discriminate.
And talk a little bit about, I guess, more than just disappointment. You talk about how there's so many ways that our system are failing us in general. Can you talk in general about some of the ways you believe that the system is failing us on many levels?
Whew. I mean, do we want to start from violence prevention? Do you want to start to the mismanagement of the CARES Act, the education system? It's so many ways. And for me, I'm happy that I was called to use my voice, and I'm not. I do it then. I'm unapologetically when I do it. I don't care what they say. I don't care about sitting at someone's table. When something is wrong, it is wrong. Like when back in 2006, and that's my era of being a part of CPS, when my peers was being gunned down and they were being killed with assault weapons, and Arnie Duncan was labeling us as numbers rather than our names. Number 36 was killed this weekend. Number 43 was killed this weekend. I'm not sure if you can recall, but as a young 18-year-old advocate, I sat down with Commissioner Deborah Sims and I helped write the assault weapons ban in Cook County for Blair Hope. That was my generation that suffered that loss of him being killed on a bus. So I tried to do whatever I could do as a young advocate. Now I'm 34 years old, to bring about peace and change in my communities. I state this for the record. This don't have anything to do with being a liberal, a socialist, being a part of the Black Lives Matter group, none of that. This got something to do with me being an African-American mother, an African-American woman, and somebody with a heart that's selfless. It's too many selfishness going on. I have many elected officials, friends, that I be on the phone with. Man, Cam, yeah, it's wrong. But you know, if it's wrong, you stand up and you fight for it. As a person that's elected, and I'm not talking about my title right now, they call me and say they unhappy, I'm getting down. I was arrested in Dalton for fighting for Alexis Wilson. I was arrested at the White House. Well, not the White House, the actual Senate building, for fighting for Chicago, for fighting for this country. I went to court with families who was impacted by community violence as well as police violence. I paid for funerals for both. I don't discriminate. Officer Michael Bailey, who was killed in 2010, was like my grandfather. He was murdered in uniform. I sat in court with my godparents. The FOP weren't really in there like that, but they backed their brothers in blue. Right is right and wrong is wrong.
Is there anything else you'd like to add that maybe I didn't ask about not only the
So,
situation?
yes, absolutely, absolutely. So a lot of people is trying to say, what's the coalition between shutting down the public transportations? I know you guys saying that we call for, if Jason Van Dyke is not federally charged, that we're calling for the public transportation to be shut down. The reason being is because it stops the flow of business. We're trying to get the attention of our elected officials. Now, if people is calling saying, hey, meet these demands, Jason Van Dyke should not be coming home. Maybe they would use their leverage to have John Loss Jr. to file those federal civil rights charges against Jason Van Dyke because it's wrong. And I close with this. We have done everything in our power to sit at these tables. We have voted. We have made political contributions to a lot of these elected officials' campaigns. They did not uphold their promise to help us fight for justice and to change a lot of these policies. They did not do it. And that started from our very own Kwame Raoul, LG Sams. They know exactly what I'm talking about that police accountability policies. They have not really sat down with these families that was impacted by police. They did not read these cases, these official court documents to see what happened within these cases that they can change, these laws that they can change to see that there's justice. And by no means am I saying every police shooting was justified or not justified. But what I'm saying is no family should get a justified without even a proper investigation, it being covered up. Because in the Southland, no officer has been charged, reprimanded, or fired for over 113 shootings in the Southland, police-involved shootings. And you cannot tell me all 113 of those cases was justified. So I thank you for your time, and I thank you for allowing me to use my voice.
Without a doubt, I know it's a very tough time in general, and I know you're going to continue to keep on the fight because there's so much more that still needs to be done.
Absolutely. I'm going to fight to the end.